All right, so again, we are starting at earlier than I normally do, because basically it has been a super big day. I'll be right back. Looks like I'm going to start this over. Am I still alive? Looks like we'll find out in a few seconds if anybody comes in. So I had to go and do something and come back here again. So it is showing it as being still live. So apparently what happened is it's been super hot here and we had the pool. We're doing the pool. Hey, Savannah, welcome. So I am live. Okay, that's good. I had to go do something and I thought my video probably stopped itself when I went to do it. But thankfully not. So I promised everybody that my next big video was going to be, and in the movie was going to be about James Bond. We're going to do like a James Bond video. We're going to talk about the franchise, all the different films, the music, talk about what our favorites were, ask any questions that we wanted to ask, our favorite bad guys, that type of thing, and just see where it took us from there. So for the last week, just woke up. It's 9:25 a.m. So there. Good morning. And good morning from the UK, apparently. Hey, Murdersville. I've been watching this pretty much like nonstop. I've been watching the movies, I've been watching the features, and this is a really, really cool set. Loving this one. Hey, Tommy Films, how's it going? So we are talking Bond tonight. I promise that. I'm not sure. You were here for that video, right? I'm basically talked about James Bond a bit, and then people asked me what my favorites were, asked me what my favorite Bond was and all that. So I said I was going to wait. I was going to do a Bond-centric episode, and I've been boning up on my Bond. Pardon the pun. You got the set too? This is a great set, isn't it? Love this. I used to have the thin discs, the 4 volumes. And for some reason, I'm guessing to get more people to buy all the volumes, they would put like random Bonds in like 2 random in random sets. There'd be a couple Connery, a couple like maybe there'd be like a Pierce Brosnan. This one brand new. I know it looks brand new, but no, I've had this one for a while. This is one of the latest sets. There was one set after this one, but it wasn't the. It was okay. I just didn't like the Amazon put it like an Amazon exclusive set, and it had only thing that was different in that set was that it had a documentary called Everything or Nothing. Now, around that time, I went to the Movie Mac. Around that time, I went to the Bond Museum, and up in London, and I actually bought Everything or Nothing, the documentary, there from the Bond Museum, which was a lot of fun actually. And I'm not sure if I still have the pictures on here, because I'll check in a little bit. Because maybe I do have some pictures of me actually at the Bond Museum. I know that I went there, I got my picture taken. It's completely different. Is it sexy like this one? I'll show you guys this one in a second. But yep, this is the Bond set that we have here. It was I think this was a limited edition, type thing. At the time it came out, it was really expensive. I got it for a good price, and it has the 2 books, guys. So basically, we got the. It's not 6 years. So we got they're from 1962 to 1981. So it goes from Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, Sparrow, Love Me, Moonraker, and For Your Eyes Only is in this one. Hey, Jason, Jack-Sick, I hope I get that right. How's it going? We're talking Bond tonight, so hope you're a Bond fan. And this one here is the second one. It has from 1984 onwards. So basically, Octopus 1982 onwards. I made sure I got the exact same box set. I didn't want the smaller version. Yeah, the Amazon put a smaller version. I just didn't like that as much. A View to Kill, The Living Daylights, License to Kill, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and bonus disc. And of course, the latest one that came out is Spectre. So it's a white square thick box. I think I've seen that. And these should come up here like this. Like each one, your birthday's in 2 weeks, and in 3 weeks you'll be in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Each one has the number of the year beside it, and the main Bond girl. So as you can see, a Vito Kill has Tanya Roberts, and we'll actually look through this one as we go through, as we start talking about this stuff. So it comes in this like sexy outer case, super sexy, and I'm a huge Bond aficionado. I'm a huge Bond fan. I think that's the new one, the white square box. Yeah, there is. It's like a kind of a Amazon did a version of it, and I know the one you're talking about. Now we started with like 1962's Dr. No. Now Dr. No, it took a lot of work for them to get Bond. Cubby Broccoli was the guy that produced the the original Bond films with Saltzman. He wanted Bond like from day one. When he read Bond, when he read the books, when he read the Fleming books, he wanted it, and they pretty much told him like he was told by the producers that he worked for, the company that he worked for at the time, that they didn't think Bond was bankable, wasn't sellable, wasn't something they were interested in. See this? That says my favorite set by far that I own. Really? Drax? Your name is Drax? Doesn't surprise me. Is Moonraker one of your favorite Bond films? In 2 weeks I'll be in Winnipeg. Viva la Winnipeg. Winnipeg's fun. I haven't been there in a long time though. But tonight we're talking Bond. There's been a few Bonds over the years. I'm not really going to get into the original Casino Royale too much with Jimmy Bond, or talk about the one with Woody Allen, which was a fun film, but it really wasn't Bond-esque. I think I got those two together actually because they came in when they put out Casino Royale, the kind of the film with Woody Allen and David Niven and all those guys in it. Watched a crappy horror movie last night. How crappy? What is it? Basically it came with the original, like the 1950s or 60s TV Casino Royale, which was interesting, but it wasn't like but definitely wasn't the same quality of what you would get later on. My favorite version of Casino Royale, I can give that one right away, it's definitely the Daniel Craig one. Fantastic villain, great Bond girl, and amazingly done. Great editing in that film. But we'll start at the beginning. With the original one, Dr. No. So it's a mess, but has some. See, I like Casino Royale. Now the mess comes later. Insidious 4. I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't heard social things on it. Moonraker is your favorite. Spy Love Me is number 2. That makes sense actually. You like the Jaws ones, right? You like the Jaws duology there. Here's the thing. Gotta just. When it comes to the Bond films, I've got favorites, and I like mostly all of the Bond films. I have one glaring Bond film that I do not like, and I do not like in any way at all. And I've tried to watch it, and I didn't like the film, and I didn't like the theme song. I didn't like the acting of the film. I hated the writing, and its direction, especially for action sequences and stuff, was damn near unwatchable. And you're right, Drax, it is Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace was a really, really bad film. It wasn't just a really bad Bond film, it was a bad film overall. You got just a bad script, a director that really doesn't know how to handle action sequences, and it's not his forte, and it really shows through. So you get a lot of more of the shaky cam type of action stuff, in order kind of trying to do a Bourne type of thing, but failing miserably because not understanding where and how that type of cam work needs to be used in order to be utilized well. So Quantum of Solace is definitely. You've never watched a Bond film before? Savannah, come on, you gotta watch some Bond stuff. Trust me. There's some really good ones. We'll go through them. There's certain ones that are older, but you still like them. Bond has a formula. Now, Bond originally didn't have a formula. They couldn't. When you made one movie, obviously, the formula isn't exactly set up yet. Even the books didn't really have everything down pat, and they were Favorite Bond girl was Rosa Klebb. Is it really Rosa Klebb? Oh man, she was tough. I love like the way they did it with the goldfish sequence, where they kind of like reversed the shot. But I lost track of what I was going to say there. So where do we want to start with Bond? Do you want to start with the movies? Do you want to start with the actors? Do you want to start with favorites? Do you want to do like a top favorite type of thing? Because I kind of leave this up to you guys too, to when we're going through this. It's pretty easy for me to give you my worst Bond film and go into detail why I don't like it. Quantum of Solace, also the worst song as well. Jack White should be ashamed of himself. Hey Dylan, how's it going? We are talking about James Bond tonight. So I broke up my James Bond set. I promised I'd be doing the James Bond one. And I could just give you my tops. I did write a list, actually. I was going to write a list down because I watched all the movies this week. So yeah, I watched every Bond film this week, and I watched all those inside making of type things that came along with these here. So I've done a lot of Bond watching in the last week since we've been talking. I watched the other movies as well. So I'll go one by one, and you guys can give me your thoughts as we go through, and we'll see where it goes. What is that? Movie Mac got what's a picture thing? I can't see what that is. So with Dr. No, it still holds up. Everything about Dr. No works for me. It doesn't have like some of the trappings of the later ones. We don't have like we don't have all the. We have the bad villain. We got the maniacal type, take over the world type of villain. Bond is very cocky, but a lot of the tropes that would come about in Goldfinger just really haven't been put into place yet. Q's not around yet, so there's no mention of Q. It's the first bit of money, first bit of flirting with that, and we're kind of seeing Bond, and he's pretty ruthless. I like that fact. Now, the best Connery is From Russia with Love. Worst of Times Are Forever. I'll definitely get to that. Now, the second one I watched was, of course, I watched these in chronological order. Honestly, I haven't seen many Bond films, but I would love to make some time to get around. They're fantastically fun films to watch, and that's the good thing about a Bond film. They're really, really fun. And movies like this, these should be fun. That's why I don't like Quantum of Solace. It's not fun to watch. There's nothing fun about it. It's dire, depressing, and badly shot. For Your Eyes Only. I don't know. I really do like For Your Eyes Only, but it may not be my favorite Bond song. And I'll get to the Bond songs in a little bit, though. Dr. No, we didn't have... I guess there is a Bond song in Dr. No, but it's not what we would call, like, typically, like, the Bond theme song. That hasn't been created yet. From Russia with Love, I guess, would be the first, like, with Tom Jones, would be the first, like, actual Bond theme song. And, like, the first, like, a really, like, big, like, opening for Bond. Like, they'll put all those things, like, into the categories, and well done. Picture you have up there. Oh. Well, he's a horror fan, so you can't expect a creepy picture. Is Goldfinger. Goldfinger had like Shirley Bassey doing the title song for Goldfinger. We get an amazing villain. Live and Let Die is my favorite. That's where the villain gets blown up. Like, yeah, it is actually. That's Yaphet Kotto actually, and that was the first one for Roger Moore. Now I can tell you without any hesitation that my better half's favorite Bond is Roger Moore. Bar none. That's her favorite. She loved The Saint growing up. She loved Roger Moore. She's about 10 years younger than me, and that was her Bond. Now, to be fair, Roger Moore's... I'm not that old. Roger Moore was kind of my Bond too. I would see Sean Connery. The only Sean Connery one that I actually saw in theater would have been Never Say Never Again. But I saw the other ones on VHS back in the day, and good old CED. So Roger Moore was kind of the guy that I grew up with, but I read the Bond books as well. Some of them, I got to say, are not the best written books, especially some of the early stuff. Ian Fleming's a decent writer, but some of it is a little on the clunkier side. And that's from someone that actually likes the books. I got to be honest, and it's Evil Dead. Yeah, the original Evil Dead. Which is super cool. Yeah, but Goldfinger was the first one to get everything down right. Now, From Russia with Love is probably one of the Bond films that works kind of on its own as a thriller, as a spy thriller. It's definitely one of the best Bond films, bar none. Didn't have everything down. They weren't checking off boxes to get this and to get all these things into the movie, and it's probably good that it doesn't. From Russia with Love is also the only one that has has a video game of its own, right? So I don't think Doctor No or only that's a real video game. GoldenEye doesn't count because that's not really the plot of GoldenEye. It's a first-person shooter. But From Russia with Love actually has a video game where they follow that story all the way through. I was kind of hoping they'd do other Bond like video games like that, and they really didn't. They kind of swerved off into their own little things. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I'm not into Bond video games yet. So you guys are really quiet tonight, which is making me talk more. And where I have no one to bounce off of right now, it's making me feel awkward. But that's why the images flipped in your videos. The images flipped, Dylan, so I can respond to you. I could probably take up my phone and do it like that. My kids would do that and flip it around. But I like to see the words popping up on the screen. From Russia with Love is a great thriller. So because of that, the image is flipped because it's like centered right on me. I'm using an iPad, and if I turn it around, I could actually see it, but I got to center it first, and then I got to put this up, and I don't have much battery on my phone right now. I was at me and my better half went down to the Pride Parade today. So if you see my Instagram, I've got like a cape and a Deadpool hat. It was a blast. Whoa. Anyway, it's really hot here. So you guys have been really quiet, well, except for. So we're gonna rank them, but we're gonna rank them differently. Let's rank the Sean Connerys. Then I'm gonna rank the Roger Moores. Then I'm gonna do what's really easy: rank the Timothy Daltons, and I'm also gonna rank the Pierce Brosnans and Daniel Craig's as well. So, because everybody would expect me to go with Roger Moore first, I'm going to go with the Daniel Craig's first. And this is actually really, really easy. The best we'll go from Daniel Craig, we're going to go from worst to best, I guess. I think Moore is probably too old to play Bond. At the end, maybe. Not when you start it. Now, who's my favorite Bond? Dylan, I'm going to get that, actually. And I may or may not surprise you. I can tell you what my favorite Bond film is without even like blinking, but I'm going to wait on that. First, I'll rank off my Daniel Craig films. Well, worst definitely is Quantum of Solace. And I like the other Daniel Craig films. I'm just going to put them in the ranking in the order that I like them. And next up would be Spectre, which I did find fun. It was if I found it going more back towards like what I wanted in a Bond film. Definitely Spectre was more of a Roger Moore Bond than a Connery Bond when he did it, and I think that kind of threw some people for a loop, but I actually really like that. Then it's Casino Royale, one of the best cold openings for a Bond film is that fight. It's an amazing fight. That parkour running sequence is incredible, and as somebody that actually was into parkour before parkour had a name. I actually really appreciate that, and I really appreciate when it's well done. And of course, my favorite is the one that's probably pretty much everyone's favorite when it comes to the Daniel Craig ones, and that is Skyfall. Skyfall had an excellent villain. There were some twists that I didn't see coming. I love the song for Skyfall. I think Craig was pretty much at the top of his game during this. Like I could see his interest coming in and out when it came to Bond, but during Skyfall, I really felt like he was completely committed to that script in that film, and there's a good reason for that. Yeah, Quantum of Solace is definitely the worst, like definitely the worst, and not just the worst. This is a spoiler for it. It's the worst. Period. It's a bad Bond film. It's a bad film. So there we go. That's the Daniel Craig ones. So let's do the Pierce Brosnans. I'm going to be a little different here. So Pierce Brosnan did Say 1, 2, 3. He did 4. And what do you think is the worst Pierce Brosnan film? Anybody? I'll wait. Because it's usually the same answer. And I don't know if I agree. The Pierce Brosnan films, Pierce Brosnan started really great with GoldenEye. Hey, we're doing the Bond films, PlayStation. I just basically did my Video Kills probably more, it's worst film. I saw it in theater actually. GoldenEye, you consider that his worst? Word is not enough. See, everybody's got a bit of a different answer. It's his best or worst. Now, see, a lot of people think GoldenEye is, is Pierce Brosnan's like his greatest Bond. He didn't get above that. That's not my opinion. But that's a lot of people do think that. A lot of people think that Die Another Day is one of the worst Bond films that they put out because a lot of the stuff that was done with it. I think there's a bunch of different things at the time. People talked about like Halle Berry, and they talked about it being like a jump off spot for a Jinx character. They talked about like the kind of the unrealisticness of some of the Bond stuff. A lot of those people probably never watched a Bond movie before, or they just maybe like to complain a lot. Then they complained about Madonna and stunt casting and her song. Now, Die Another Day is hands down, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be completely honest, one of my favorite Bond songs. I really like it. You want a song that's really going to pump you going into the film. Die Another Day does that. In Casino Royale, You Know My Name, you are ready to watch a Bond movie. It gets you ready. The idea behind a Bond song is to prepare you to watch. You're watching Bond. It's an experience. It's a what would you call it? It's an event. When you go to watch a Bond film, it's an event film. Much like like a lot of the Marvel films are for people now. But when I was growing up, the Bond films were event films. You actually like that song, but I love that song by Madonna. I think it's incredible, and I love the video. It's got an amazing video too, and Madonna looked like super hot in it, like always. But ranking the Pierce Brosnan films, well, let's see. Not as easy as you think, because I like the Brosnan era of Bond. I'm saddened that he didn't, he had to wait to do it. He was supposed to do it right after Roger Moore. Now, I can tell what my favorite is right now, like without like even thinking about it. The World Is Not Enough is probably my favorite of the Pierce Brosnan ones, and people are going to be really surprised. Mission Impossible series has become North America's version of James Bond. Yeah, it pretty much has 4K, and it is an event film. Like Mission Impossible is an event one. Speaking of Brosnan, have you ever seen The Foreigner? I think I did. I got it here somewhere actually, but I don't really remember that well. So maybe I have, but I don't remember it. I'm not sure if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but I watched a lot of movies, so don't take that as a bad sign. The World's Not Enough is definitely my favorite. I don't know if I can rank these because they're pretty much all the same to me. Die Another Day I really liked. Tomorrow Never Dies is not my favorite, but it's got some great stuff in it. GoldenEye also I really liked. You passed on seeing Diamonds Are Forever on release. Oh, you were 6. Well, I can forgive you because you were 6, but Diamonds Are Forever has some neat things in it. So I'm not even rating I like the Pierce Brosnan ones equally. We're going to go with that. That's a bit of a cheat, huh? Don't care. Now we got these two. What do you guys think of Dalton? Dalton was a different Bond. And Dalton is a guy that does have a lot of humor in his personality. But people found him the dry Bond. The more, like, some people found him, oddly enough, some people called him the politically correct Bond because he didn't sleep with as many girls in films as like Sean Connery or Roger Moore did. What's the box that I got? It's this one right here. I mean, that's but let me just get up here a bit. I love Dalton. If Dalton is pretty much for me, there's one scene in Brosnan. And I think it is The World. Remember to get up, Living Daylights. I love that actually. That is cool. The World's Not Enough. There's a scene with Brosnan in The World's Not Enough that really strikes me as real Bond. And it's the scene where he takes care of the mastermind, and he does it like quickly, efficiently, and he does it cold. And I really enjoyed that aspect of that. Like he said the flippant thing. Video Kill theme was my favorite. Oh, I love Video Kill. I love the song, and we'll get to that like film after. I actually saw that in theater. I saw a few of these in theater, guys. But I saw the Dalton ones both in theater. And my favorite of the two Dalton films is definitely, honestly, A License to Kill. I love Living Daylights, so that was a lot of fun. I like the two Bond girls that were in it. But in License to Kill, it steps up a notch again. And it's the first time that it's really gotten to this point since On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Felix gets hurt. Felix gets hurt really bad, and Felix is a mainstay in the Bond franchise. Felix is probably my favorite like secondary character in the Bond films. Got any Bond soundtracks on vinyl? Not yet. I've actually just started collecting vinyl not too long ago, so I haven't come across any Bond ones for soundtrack yet, like on vinyl. But I definitely will. There's some that I really want. A Video Kill actually is one of them because I'm a big Duran Duran fan from back in the day. I'm from the '80s, so. We listen to a lot of Duran Duran, and here in Canada there's a group called Honeymoon Suite. If you know them, cheers. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Dalton Bonds. I wish he'd done more of them. Ian Fleming would have picked Dalton as his perfect Bond. I actually think you're probably Felix, David Hedison. Yeah, that's my favorite Felix. Hedison played Felix twice. I think he's the only actor that has really, of the original era Bond that actually played Felix more than once. I know that Jack Lord played him originally in the, and I think it was, oh my God, I just watched it this week. From Russia with Love, was it? Spacing on it. But was Felix in the first one? I don't think it was in the first one. When Felix first came in, it was Jack Lord from OI50, the original OI50 series. But David Hedison is my favorite Felix. I like Hedison. He was an actor. He was a damn good actor. Did a lot of, German actor. Did a lot of really cool work. Did some soap work. Did some Irving Allen stuff. But I loved him as Felix. I really liked the fact that they brought him back to play Felix again. What Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea? Actually, I have 3 or 4 seasons of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I just gotta get the 4th one. It was at Future Shop, and they had a huge sale on shows, and I bought like 3 seasons of like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. As you know, they're all like put into 2. After Craig, who would you want to take over the character? I've thought about that, and I think Dan Stevens is a possibility. If you've ever seen the Guest, I think it's called The Guest. Basically, it's about this guy, Jeremy Renner. No, it's okay to put me on the spot. That's exactly what this is for you guys to put me on the spot, to make me think. I like that. Trust me. Even if it takes me a while to get the questions out, I like when you put me on the spot. But yeah, probably Dan. I would say, if I was thinking on the top of my head, maybe I think somebody else. Yeah, Dan Stevens. I mean, like when I watched that movie, when I watched The Guest, and basically this guy comes to this family's home. Their son has died, and basically he's in the army. He's died away on a mission. A guy comes, basically tells him that he was friends with their son, and things start happening. If you have not seen the movie, I really recommend it. You watch it, you'll see why I think he'd make a good Bond. Guys, think of it. Jeremy Renner as Bond. He did like the Bourne films, like, and because I know I saw it in theater, and it's not his fault, but it was really Tom Hiddleston. But I doubt he'd do it. Actually, he might. License to Kill is my number 4 favorite. It's maybe the darkest Bond. It is definitely a dark Bond film. Tracks, and you have some different like choices for Bond films, and I really like that. No, not with Ryan Gosling. I think it's called The Guesstimate. Thoughts on the Bourne films? The first couple were good. They got increasingly worse as they went on. The Jeremy Renner Bourne film is really bad. It's not his fault. He's a good actor. He just had a bad script, and it was boring and slow and went nowhere. And watching it in theater was like when I watched that Jennifer. Last one is that I didn't see. I never. I'm so not interested in the after seeing the Jeremy Renner one that I didn't even see the last one. But I'm just checking here. I'm sure that it's The Guest that Dan Stevens was in, but I probably, or was it The Visit? No, it's not The Visit. Now Dan Stevens was in Downton Abbey, so yeah, it was The Guest. And here's Dan Stevens, by the way. And I think he has a good look for it. He was super like, I guess like jacked in that film, and he does a lot of action sequences, uses a lot of like use guns, machinery, like as fight scenes, and he just really impressed me. I think one of the few people that, you know, Bourne Legacy, I haven't seen it. Like, I'll be honest with you, so I have not seen the latest Bourne film, so I cannot tell you. You need to choose someone who flies under the radar. That's why I said Dan Stevens, damn it, because he's like not somebody that's a big star. He's not, is he? What's he doing now? Is he? He's not Legion, is he? Is he Legion? No, it can't be Legion. Because Legion's a really small. He's in Legion. He's David in Legion. Wow, okay, Dan Stevens is pretty much unrecognizable in other film roles. But yeah, that's my choice because he's not unrecognizable in everything he does, and he does the action roles really well. Now, I grew up with the Roger Moore films, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, just like do a trailer, or if you've seen The Guest, fantastic. If you haven't seen The Guest, watch it. But like just, yeah, go in blind if you want to, but if you want to see a trailer for it and you kind of get like the feel of them, I do think that it should always be somebody, you know, somebody from the UK. I don't think that James Bond. I think it would be horrible to cast an American or a Canadian as James Bond. Maybe a Canadian because we're stronger. We have a more. But I prefer like a UK person for Bond. When they were doing the Bond roles, though, there was a couple of people that actually were I think North American, at least, so we're American, that almost had the role, and one of those was James Brolin. He actually did a screen test, and I love James Brolin, but no. John Gavin was almost given the role of James Bond a couple times. Yeah, but we'll get to George Lazenby. We'll get to him. And he still got the. You see, I can deal with that. I just don't want it to be. There's a certain thing that I think that comes with us. I don't know. There has to be the accent, and I know North Americans can probably do the accent as well, but no. J.J. Field's an actor that is not so well known, and he could be a great Bond. J.J. Field. See, that got a good. See, there you go. When you put up like a question like that, when you throw something out like that, oh, he's in Captain America. What do I know him from? Good shot. I mean, I wouldn't have thought about him. To show you guys who've never seen Field, this is him right here. Oh, hopefully you can see that. It's probably a little shiny, but we'll go. It looks like Slender Man there. There you go. Almost seemed like a Q though. I'd have to see him in action. I knew. See, when they originally started doing Bond, the people, Roger Moore was one of the guys that they wanted. Timothy Dalton was like asked to play Bond much earlier in his career than he did. He turned it down. like, and yeah, there are a few people actually turned it down at different times. There was Dalton turned it down like years before he actually played Bond. They had wanted him to take over from Connery. He said no. He said he was too young for the role. Who's my favorite Bond villain? I I got a lot of favorite Bond villains, but if if I was going to just go straight, I guess Blofeld. Does that seem a boring answer? Blofeld. But when you said who's your favorite Bond villain, Goldfinger came to mind. He really did, and I liked I liked the film Goldfinger. It's actually one of my favorites. Just everything. I've got one of my favorite Bond girls with Pussy Galore. I really like that character. They kind of messed with her in the book. If you ever never read the book Goldfinger, the character Pussy Galore is gay in the book, but Ian Fleming was a bit sexist. Which Blofeld? I guess I'd go with Pleasance for look. For Scaramanga. Really? I love the character, but I didn't like the film that much. Man with Golden Gun, I was really not a big fan of that film. I like the fact that it was the first Bond film to actually have like actual nudity in the film. I don't know how many have since then, but I'm pretty sure that was the ones that did. But what was Robert? Oh, Robert Shaw's character was amazing. I can't remember his character's name, and I watched this not too long ago too. He looks so different, man. When you see like Robert Shaw in Jaws, and you see Robert Shaw as this like kind of Soviet assassin in Spectre, in From Russia with Love, and he's Russia with Love. Yeah, so he's just so cold and calculated. That opening sequence where Bond gets killed is by Robert Shaw is really good, and that train fight was incredible. Watching it over again now, like years later, I really got into the to that sequence. I really love that film. It's definitely one of my favorites. The one that I saw in theater recently was Thunderball. About a couple years ago, I saw Thunderball in a digital movie festival, where they showed it at the on screen. You really got to watch all. You really do, man. Do you have the Bond sets, PlayStation? If you do, like something like this, grab the set and just watch the film. And the thing is that I'm going to tell you this right now. Bond Blu-rays or DVDs, whichever you get, got to get the double disc album editions though. If you're going to get them on DVD, have the best features you can imagine. Every single one of the Bond films, they're broken down, and it is incredible. You will the plethora of features on a Bond. We'll put a lot of just regular ones to shame. They just do amazing stuff. You're going to find like makings of on all the films. You're going to find like documentaries on the Bond women, on the villains, on different eras of Bond. You're going to see all like amazing trailers and galleries. What's the worst Bond film? You must have missed that one. I actually said that earlier, Dylan, but I don't think you're here at the time. But Quantum of Solace, hands down. You could take Quantum of Solace out of the Bond franchise and it wouldn't be missed at all. Quantum of Solace is a film where they try to make Bond go really dark before it becomes Bond, but the film was a mess. I almost have all of them. I have all the Connerys, Lazenby. I have all the 80% of them. Definitely, the Connery ones are really good. My least favorite of the Connerys, and here's the thing, I love all the Bond films, so it's really hard to just even to rank them and say, okay, this is my favorite. My favorite of the Bond, of the Connery Bonds, we'll go with that, is probably, I like Goldfinger, I like From Russia with Love. Those are two of my favorites. I love things with Thunderball. There's great things in Thunderball, but Thunderball might be one of the weaker ones in the original Connery franchise of Bond. It's a good film. It's good. Definitely has some nice underwater sequences. Was done by Rico Browning, of course, who was the creature from the Black Lagoon. So that's it's an interesting little kind of trivia fact there for you. Yeah. So a lot of great stuff with that, but it wasn't my favorite. Thunderball, if you asked me to name the villain from Thunderball, and I watched it this week, I couldn't name the villain from Thunderball. And I actually, I love Blofeld. The thing is that the original voice of Blofeld was the guy from, it was actually in the original Bond film. What's his name again now? Because I think Joseph Wiseman, Dr. No, kills him. But he actually, no, Bond kills him in the original film. He was a friend of the director, Anthony Dawson. Yeah, so Anthony Dawson is the voice of Blofeld. So when you're watching the early Bond films before Blofeld is seen, Anthony Dawson is the guy that's doing that you're seeing petting the cat and you know and giving the instructions, the Rosa Klebb and all that type of stuff. So Anthony Dawson, the guy that Bond kills. And if you're kind of wondering who Anthony Dawson is from Dr. No, he's the one that Bond kills kind of nonchalantly. They went back and forth wondering on if Bond should just shoot this guy in kind of in cold blood type of thing. In the room, he just like kind of just casually like kills him. And they went with it, and that kind of like started, you know, it was the trend. It was the way Bond should be. But his character was well done. And Anthony Dawson's a great actor, so aside from Donald Pleasance, my favorite Blofeld is probably Anthony Dawson. Now, I did like what Telly Savalas tried to do with Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It was a very different Blofeld. It didn't have the class and sophistication that I think Blofeld should have in the films. The worst Blofeld by far is the one from A View to a Kill. I'm not sure who played him in that one there, but it came off as a cartoon version of Blofeld. You know, Dr. Cloud would be more realistic Blofeld than this guy. And basically, they did it. Largo's the villain from Thunderball. See, dude, I didn't remember that at all. That's not a good sign. And when you watch them, like, but I watch like all these movies in a week, so yeah, you got to give me a bit of a break on that. Is that a Russ Meyer box set behind you? Yeah, it is actually. I'll show you that after. I'm a huge Russ Meyer fan. And that box set is very much out of print right now because Russ Meyer's people are going to... Don't you mean For Your Eyes Only? Yes, I do. Thank you. At the beginning of For Your Eyes Only, I remember seeing this one in theater. What's really cool too, For Your Eyes Only had a really cool comic book adaptation as well. But yeah, so basically to finish off the Spectre Blofeld storyline, they don't really call... The Blofeld tries to trap Bond, and Bond takes a helicopter and scoops up Blofeld and kills him by putting him in the... It's really, really dumb. Which is a shame because For Your Eyes Only has some great action sequences. It's a well shot. Like, For Your Eyes Only is one of those movies that it's not the best Bond plot, like by far. It's a weak plot, but the action sequences are masterfully shot, and that can take a movie from here, especially in a Bond franchise, up to here. And you need to have an eye for action to make a Bond film. That's why Solace doesn't work. That's why For Your Eyes Only does. You can get past a middling script if you can shoot the action in the right way. And in For Your Eyes Only, the action is shot masterfully. But you guys asked what my favorite Bond film of all time is. Charles Gray. Oh, thank you. I love Charles Gray. Why did I not think Charles Gray? Charles Gray was the devil. You make of Zoran. Zoran is from View to a Kill? Christopher Walken, right? Are we talking Christopher Walken here? Because these are all blending into one. So you say Zoran, I'm going to assume you mean Christopher Walken because I think that's the character you're talking about. And I'm going to tell you right now, your favorite Bond villains: Sanchez, cool, Trevelyan, Camille, Khan, Silva, and Scaramanga. Okay, perfect. I'm actually a fan. But I'm kind of biased. Here's the thing: I saw all of a lot of the later Bonds in the theater. I had a really good experience with A View to a Kill. It wasn't my favorite Bond film. I like Christopher Walken. I love Tanya Roberts. She was just... I've always liked Tanya Roberts. I've got a thing, I've got a crush on Tanya Roberts. You can put that in the list of like the Google Doc of people that actresses that I have a crush on. Could have been done better. I understand, but the thing is, I think Christopher Walken was good. I do think that at the time, Roger Moore was getting a bit long in the tooth to play the role of James Bond. That affected certain aspects of things that they could and couldn't do. But I love the theme song. I think Chris Rock was a good choice for a villain. He's taking Google Docs. Excellent timing. But it's not the weakest of the Roger Moore films, to be honest with you. And a lot of people say Moonraker. Drax knows this, because Drax is definitely swimming against the tide when it comes to to the Moore ones. A lot of people really don't like Moonraker, or they really think put it lower on their list. Or did her best acting in a bikini. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that though. But here's the thing. I actually dig Moonraker. A lot, actually. And again, that's when I saw it in the theater. And it was cool. It was kind of a sci-fi, like, James Bond thing. People didn't like, here's what people didn't like when it came to Moonraker. There was a character named Jaws, played by Richard Kiel. He was introduced in The Spy Who Loved Me. He was a very, like, scary villain. He was one of the big henchmen, much like Oddjob. Like, Jaws worked much like Oddjob in a way that, like, kind of like Dave Bautista's character worked in the Inspector, in the latest Bond film. A lot of people didn't like when Jaws became a softer, more comedic character in Moonraker. But I think much in the way when Sam Raimi did Evil Dead, Mr. Jaws, exactly Mr. Jaws, the character, much like Evil Dead, had been taken as far in the scary, ominous way as you could be taken. They took him in a different direction to, like, kind of to beef up, to add, yeah, Jaws needs some love, and give Jaws a girlfriend, which they did do. And I did like what they did with Jaws. So yeah, I'm a fan of Moonraker. If there's anyone that, the weakest one, I don't know, Octopussy's not the most memorable. I love, like, Maud Adams and Louis Jourdan. I love Louis Jourdan. But see, Octopussy wasn't my best theater experience, but I do, Bond in a clown suit scared me a bit. I was scared of clowns at the time. But yeah, it's hard. It's really hard for me, like, to say a bad Bond. That's the thing. I like all the films. But my favorite of all the Roger Moore, like, Bonds, it's pretty easy, actually. It's a toss-up between Live and Let Die and The Spy Who Loved Me. Both of them are fantastic films. Live and Let Die did, like, kind of rode the crest of the blaxploitation era. Eddie F. at Kodo, I thought was fantastic. The Baron Samedi was a freaking scary villain. Tots Casino Royale. It's a fun little movie. It's I don't think it can legitimately be called a Bond film. I haven't seen it for years. What about Never Say Never Again? I like Never Say Never Again. A lot of people hated it because it didn't have this, and didn't have, like, the theme song like this, and didn't have the gun barrel. There's a lot of things it couldn't have. And there were rights issues. There were, like, tropes that were done. Basically, the only reason that Never Say Never Again actually became a film is because Fleming worked on Thunderball with somebody else, with another guy, and whose name I can't remember right now. I actually watched a documentary on it. And so some of those that he claimed, some of those ideas were his, that Fleming had done it without his permission, without, like, he didn't get a cut of it. There was intellectual property that from that book that was his. He actually won a court case, and that gave him the chance, the right to actually make his own Bond film. He couldn't use any of the things that had been, like, pretty much trademarked. That was stunning. You should rewatch it. Actually, I probably should. I've got it here, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. So to give you any honest opinion on it, I'd be lying through my teeth, to be totally honest with you, and I don't want to do that. But I will definitely give it a rewatch, because I watched all the rest of them. So I'm kind of a completist. So I got to watch that, and I got to watch the one that comes on with it. Did you have the disc, the one with the kind of like the TV Bond as well, Jimmy Bond? That I haven't watched in a long time either, so I got to check that out. But yeah, where was I? I lost my train of thought, guys. I want to put my train of thought back on there. Oh, you streamed it. if you get the chance to get it, if you, I'm not sure if you buy physical really, but there's a special edition of Casino Royale. It's actually fairly cheap. Around here anyway. I come across it every once in a while, and it has the original James Bond, like the TV show that they did. Oh, anyway, so there was yeah, the rights issues. So basically, he could make his version of James Bond. So you had a year when Octopussy was coming out and Never Say Never Again was coming out. Both of them were coming out the same year. They're being done by different people. Sean Connery was coming back to play James Bond for another company. Rowan Atkinson is in that Bond film, by the way. It's they had used there's characters they couldn't use. There was like different like things that they couldn't use without. It's really interesting. So if you ever get a chance to see Everything or Nothing, and if you get any of the Bond films, then definitely start looking into the features and that. You'll hear a lot of really good stuff when it comes to what happened in the rights issue. It's really interesting actually checking out the rights issues and the fight for James Bond. There could have legitimately been a completely different Bond series done with the if he really had pushed it. He had the rights to remake Thunderball, but he didn't have the rights really to remake any other films. That's the one that he'd worked on. But he really, really wanted to have his own Bond series. He wanted to keep going with Bond. Obviously, when Thunderball was done, it was when Never Say Never was done, it was very different. And I enjoyed Never Say Never Again. I really did. I kind of wish that the guys that own the rights for Bond would get the rights for Never Say Never Again, and put a place for that in the set. Put out a nice special edition of that one as well, because I don't think it's ever really got an edition. It's got a good edition, but I think they can do a better edition. They can do an ultimate edition of Never Say Never Again, which at this point, although there's a good one, I think it can be better. There you go. That's my roundabout way of talking about Never Say Never Again. I liked it. But I had misgivings about it going in. I didn't know a lot. The reason I kept waiting to see certain things happen in the film that didn't. The music, the way the opening was done, was very different. Was kind of like almost like alien to me. It was like hearing this the Bond opening without the gun barrel, without like the really kind of super cool Bond song. Not seeing a lot of the people that I was used to seeing, but no, it was good. Now all the rights is owned by one person. Kingsman clearly owes a debt to Bond. Kingsman, it does, but Kingsman's a really good film. If there's any franchise that could have like taken on and just stepped up with the mantle of Bond, like Kingsman did a much better job than the Bourne series did. And I did like the original Bourne films, but Kingsman very much does does the younger Bond thing. If there ever was a James Bond Jr., it's Kingsman. I did kind of dig that like cartoon series back in the day, James Bond Jr. cartoon series. Got to rewatch it. Definitely one I got to rewatch. There was a comic book too. I used to have a few of those. But do you guys want me to rate them? Like, as in go through them all? My favorite Bond girls: Domino, Agent Triple X, Aki, Christmas Jones, Plenty O'Toole. That's from Diamonds Are Forever. She was good. My favorite Bond girl. Ooh. Gotta find her. It's like Solitaire. Maybe Drax like the girl from Moonraker best. But I don't know. The girl from Spy Love Me is fantastic. I can't remember her name right now. Ursula Andress was like legitimately like the kind of the sexy Bond girl. She kind of like put the pretty much just put her stamp there. But for me, probably it's not going to be a popular choice, but I like Tracy, the girl that would become Bond's wife, played by Diana Riggs. She may not have been the most voluptuous actress to play in the role of James Bond, and she actually, in roles that she did, she was very like body conscious, because people did make fun of her for being more flat-chested than some people that had played Bond before, played like the Bond girls before. Holly Goodhead was good in two Moonraker. See, I knew you like her, and actually she is really good. One of my least favorite Bond girls is I don't know. I was going to say Grace Jones, but I did kind of like Grace Jones for what she did for that film. She definitely was like a step in the right direction of like how they should. I'm not sure if she would be considered like an actual Bond girl. As much as I love Tanya Roberts, she probably was one of the weaker Bond girls. Some people will say Denise Richards because they'll have this thing where like she's too attractive to be a whatever she was, whatever job was it. And I'm like, no, no, she wasn't. But she just did like a good job though. My favorite Bond film of all time is weak drum roll. Is Honor Majesty's Secret Service. I loved that film. I loved the book. I loved the film. I love the storyline to Honor Majesty's Secret Service. Is that my favorite Blofeld? No, not by any chance. Is George Lazenby my favorite Bond? I thought he did a good job, definitely. Coming in for having to take over from Sean Connery. He was a very strong personality. One of George Lazenby's first acting roles. He definitely like crapped the bed with the way that he handled it. But Honor Majesty's Secret Service is one of my favorite Bond films. I like the way that it was shot. I think Peter Hunt did a good job. I love the action sequences. I love the line at the beginning where Bond pretty much, he gets punched out and George Lazenby gets up. He's like, this wouldn't happen to the other fellow. I did dig that. I like Blofeld's like plot and cutting off the earlobes, the royalty thing. It was comical. It was cool. But most of all, I like that they let Bond advance. There was a meat to the story. There was Bond's life now reached out to other people. Bond's life affected other people. His enemies, he had enemies. And I hope you've seen Honor Majesty's Secret Service because it does not end well for Bond. It's the first one where Bond goes crying. But I'm really just getting into cinema and discovering new work. So streaming on Filmstruck. We don't get that here actually. So far they get a better deal. And Honor Majesty's Secret Service theme, we've got all the time in the world. Yeah, and it is heartbreaking. It is the most heartbreaking one out of all the Bond films. In my opinion, I really, really liked Honor Majesty's Secret Service. And if you ask any actor that's ever played James Bond, from Daniel Craig to Roger Moore to Sean Connery to Timothy Dalton, absolutely every one of them wished that they could remake Honor Majesty's Secret Service. It's the one film that every Bond actor has wanted to do. And it was a one and done, but George Lazenby, no matter what people think of him as Bond or think of him like the way he reacted to playing Bond or the way he did afterwards, George Lazenby is the person that had that enviable task. The Bond movie that every other Bond actor wants to do. I'm sure Daniel Craig would have loved to have remade Honor Majesty's Secret Service. Out of all the ones there, I'm sure that's would have been the top one for him. Sean Connery regrets not doing it. The instrumental theme, but you got All the Time in the World was great too. Okay, I got to go back and listen to it again. But yeah, All the Time in the World. It's at the end of the movie, and it breaks my heart a bit because you really grow to love the character of Tracy throughout the film. You can see why Bond is ready to give up everything for her, and I guess the equivalent to that in the new Bond series is we meet the character from the Blue is the Warmest Color. I never remember the actress's name, but I did see Blue is the Warmest Color about 20 times, and she was in that. But she seems to be the equivalent to Tracy in this series. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think she is a Tracy this series, and I think obviously they're not calling her that because that would be a bit of a giveaway. But I think that he didn't cure Christoph Waltz's Blofeld. That's going to come back to Hanum. And although this is going to be the last Bond film for Daniel Craig, doing one that's up among the ranks of Honor Majesty's Secret Service would definitely be something that would be a strong way to go out for Daniel Craig and bring in whoever they're going to bring in next. I remember back, they said one of the actors before Daniel Craig was cast that was thought about was Heath Ledger to do like a younger Bond. Do you think they need to go with a clean slate again? Do you think they need to like start over? Like we've seen them start over with Daniel Craig, and like go to like basically before he got his 007 license. Now we see how he gets 007 license in the first movie as well. But would you want to go with the clean slate again? Would you want to go right back there? I'm not sure how I'd do it. And there's been all these theories about James Bond over the years. Does everybody know the theory about the more than one Bond? The Bond is a code name. There's a theory, and you guys probably already know this, so I won't go into it too deeply. But there's a fan theory that the reason that James Bond, it's not that there's different actors playing James Bond, it's that James Bond is a code name, and different people actually have been James Bond, hence all the different actors that have played Bond. I think in terms of killing off the girl, yeah. Oh no, I get that definitely. Tracy was the original Bond girl to be really be killed off, and to affect a lot of Bond fans. But yeah, I think she's going the Tracy route of being killed off as well. Do they have her back I hope they got her back for I hope it's not like a done off screen type of thing and then Bond comes at the beginning of it. Because if it is, then we're going to get something along the lines of, like, remember the opening of Diamonds Are Forever? You know, Where's Blofeld? That's, you know, where's Ernest Stavros Blofeld? And we don't like see Bond right away. He's like just beating crap out of all these guys trying to get to Blofeld, because Blofeld has, you know, that's what he's done. He's killed Bond's wife, and Bond made a mistake of letting him go, and that was a mistake in the film too. Actually, I know that you can't kill Blofeld because Blofeld's going to come back, and then Christopher Waltz said he wasn't going to come back if Daniel Craig wouldn't come back. James Bond rest home. It's in a leafy suburb of London. I actually had a theory. I can give it away. I'm a Doctor Who fan, and when they had Capaldi come in and play a character in Doctor Who that, you know, and then later on play Doctor Who, much like Colin Baker, like it originally did, I thought like that. Wouldn't it be neat if every person that ever played, every Doctor Who, you know, that ever was, actually had like a real life, like a physical like counterpart, like just a normal person that whose body that you know, and no, it's like years later, and there's all these guys that kind of have the memories of like of the Doctor, but they're no longer the Doctor because there's been regeneration after regeneration. But every time regeneration goes, we think of them as dying, but the physical body becomes like a regular person and goes living a life, and the Doctor Who portion of them is forgotten until years later they're in like a senior home type of thing, and something happens and the memories are triggered and they all remember their times as the Doctor. I actually was writing a script with that a while back, before around the time just after the series came back. Never did finish it, but that was, there you go, guys. That was like a Doctor Who script I was doing, writing. So much fun. Anyway, back on the Bond train. Yeah, definitely. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is like my favorite Bond story. It's my favorite Bond film. Yeah, I'll go with that. But I'll give you my favorite of everyone. From Russia with Love and Goldfinger are my top Connery films. I like them all. When it comes to Roger Moore, again, it's The Spy Who Loved Me. It would win out, but I do love Live and Let Die. It's got a fantastic soundtrack. I love that it's Roger Moore's start. He does a great job in it. Moore actually has a very good Bond feel to him. People think Moore isn't like Bond because he's lighter and he does it differently, but I like the fact that he did it differently. Like Roger Moore, like Sean Connery put his stamp on it, and it was great with what he did, and I think it would have been an utter like mess if Roger Moore would have went in and did James Bond in the exact same way that Sean Connery did. I do like the fact that we get different takes on the character. When it comes to Roger Moore, though, yeah, it's definitely Spy Who Loved Me. When it comes to Timothy Dalton, it's License to Kill, and when it comes to Pierce Brosnan, then my favorite Bond film is probably going to be I want to say The World's Not Enough because of that scene, but it's probably Goldeneye. Sean Bean is a great villain, And boringly as it is, the my favorite Bond for Daniel Craig is probably Skyfall. That being, I love Casino Royale, but it wasn't there. Skyfall just seemed to get all of it, all of the Bonds. Skyfall is a From Russia with Love, a modern Bond, and I think that's pretty much been like a general consensus. Is like with people, most of the people I know anyway. Would you guys agree with that? That Skyfall would be the the quality, the big quality Bond. Like From Russia with Love is known as being the best early Bond. It's known basically. It's got a great story. There's great characters, great acting. It's a real thriller, and it can stand on its own. If you a lot of these films, they do kind of stand on their own. But From Russia with Love pretty much stands on its own it's not in the same concept conceit of a lot of the other Bond films. And Skyfall, I think, works as a film, as a solid film. Skyfall is great. LA does a fantastic job with the song Skyfall, and it brings back a Shirley Bassey feel. And of course, Shirley Bassey got to do two Bond songs. Do you know both of them? When you think Bond, a lot of people do think of that kind of like that epic song. Sean Bean is one of my favorite actors. He's GoldenEye, yeah, Patriot Games, Ronin. Sean Bean is amazing. Gets killed in everything he's in. It's like a Sean Bean thing. Like when you see a movie with Sean, almost everything. Maybe not sharp, but you see like, oh, Sean Bean, he's gonna die. He's like Michael Bean, right? He's gonna die. The only time I think it really surprised me, I started watching Game of Thrones, and spoiler alert for people that haven't watched Game of Thrones after 7 seasons, but he's the main character of the first season. And I'm like, wow, this finally it's gonna be like Sharp. He's gonna like anchor the series. I love Sean Bean. Oh my God, he just lost his head. That's very Sean Bean. And when my better half watched it, have I seen The Man Who Haunted Himself? Great psychological horror. But I to the notion that Moore didn't have acting chops. Oh really? I love Moore, and I mean, I wouldn't. I think Moore does a great job. Moore does. Here's the thing. A lot of people, especially older actors, you'll see them play. A lot. What people think of playing themselves, really. John Wayne had a certain like aura and presence to him that he used in all his films. Roger Moore definitely has kind of like is kind of a classier type of actor. He does a lot of like really cool roles like that. A lot of them like do that type of thing. Some people branch out into other things and do like nowadays, especially people are becoming more character actors and doing more stuff. But there was a time when you had a brand. And you had a style of role like James Cagney, like Humphrey Bogart, like George Raft, and you wouldn't be like it wouldn't be downed on that you like did role after role of like mobsters, gangsters, CIA, that type of thing. It was actually you had a steady, a significant place. You had made your mark, and these roles were roles that you went with. Roger Moore definitely plays the saint character really well. Simon Templar. And he does a great job when it comes to Bond. He's a classier Bond than a lot of them. Definitely Sean Connery looks good in the suit. Sean Connery is the more thuggish Bond, much like Daniel Craig is. Daniel Craig is a throwback to that. Timothy Dalton is the vicious Bond. You can see, there's a scene, there's what's the book? I think it's probably License to Kill. And in the book, there's different stories in it. And he's going to, or is it's License to Kill, or is it Living Daylights? It might be Living Daylights. So basically, he's getting ready to assassinate somebody. I think it's Living Daylights. And it goes through like how the shaking of Bond's hand and the drinking, the drinking. He doesn't just drink martinis for like, he kills people for a living. He has a lot on his conscience, a lot that weighs on him. And he has nerve issues. There's a darkness to Bond's character that we don't see a lot. The Daniel Craig movies did try to go into that. Timothy Dalton really wanted to go into it. And Brosnan, who's much along the lines of Roger Moore, definitely could have gone into it if they would have let him. But there's a darkness to Bond in the books. There's a darkness to Bond that we don't get to see a lot. We see a bit of the meanness in with Sean Connery. We don't really see a lot of it with George Lazenby. He wasn't a great actor. I don't think he ever became like a really great actor. I haven't seen the movie you're talking about though. But I do. This is my. But I do think Roger Moore's good. You know what I think could have made a good James Bond back then? It would have been too much like Roger Moore though. Is there was an actor by the name of, it's still around, but Ian Ogilvy. Got off buying The Saints. There must be a Blu-ray set somewhere. Is there? I got the monochrome set and the color set, so I bought those, the two big ones. I'm a huge Saint fan. I grew up with Return of the Saint though. Like I saw the Saint like around. I saw it around the same time, but I saw Return of the Saint as it was like coming on, I think. So you gotta understand, the time when I was growing up, I watched a lot of British shows. I watched, watched Fawlty Towers. I grew up watching like Monty Python, Doctor Who, Blake Seven. Minder was a big show with me, and I got to find the Sweeney later on in life. But Minder was the show that I really liked. I hope Savannah didn't leave actually. Hopefully she is still here. Maybe. I hope I didn't bore you guys with Bond. Bond was requested, so I wanted to do like the Bond thing tonight to see how the Bond would go, how the Bond stuff would go. So let me check here to see. It always saddens me if somebody has to leave early, but I understand, of course. So Savannah, if you're still here, thank you for staying. If I bored you with the James Bond thing, I understand if you haven't seen much James Bond, and hopefully I'll see you on the next stream. So if you're not watching this right now and you watch it later on, you rock, and hope you're still around. If you're not, definitely come back. You hope you copy the man who. Yeah, be interested actually. I'm kind of curious. You've got me curious. Super curious, actually. So I went to check my thing on here. I always remember that. Okay, time to check my email because I forget, and I like usually every like 4 or 5 days I'll check my email. I apologize if anybody like ever sends me a message and I don't respond like right away. That's probably the reason, because I haven't like checked in a while. So remind me, and I will check. I usually check every couple of days now. That's what I did just now. I was like, oh my God, I didn't check my email in a while. But yeah, so that's my favorite Bond. My favorite Bond song. I like the modern day ones as much as I love Skyfall. I think You Know My Name like really suits James Bond. Out of the James Bond songs, oh, man, it's really hard. All Time High is fantastic. I like the Diamonds. Diamonds Are Forever is actually pretty cool. But man, it's so hard. The Bond theme songs. For Your Eyes Only is amazing. I love Sheen Easton. You want Sheen Easton on the Google She'd go really high on the Google View to a Kill is an incredible Bond song. But I go to Die Another Day a lot. I actually really like the way the song is. I really like that song for a Bond film, and it really bothers me that so many people like crapped on it, because I thought they did such an amazing job with that song. View to a Kill, Die Another Day. Those, Live and Let Die. What was the song for Moonraker? I don't remember the song for Moonraker, and I watched that movie just a couple of days ago. Who did the song for Moonraker, guys? Drax, you should know this. Shirley Bassey, that was her third one. Yes, because she did three. My God. I don't remember Shirley Bassey's Moonraker theme song. I got to go back and like really like listen to it again. Song failed to make any real impact in the charts, partly attributed to Bassey's failure to promote the single. Okay. It's just more, okay. Yeah, Bassey did it. So there's another good thing. Bassey is the voice of, she was known as the voice of like of the James Bond theme song. Obviously she did more than anyone else. And there's another like strong point, like Drax, when people like start crapping on Moonraker, you know, it's a Bassey song. And Drax is such a cool villain. He's one of the original, like, you know, the goatee guys. I like those goatee villains. You know, just an aside, I like, for some reason, like the goatee, the evilness of the goatee, it works. I mean, like, look like the Master when he had the goatee, when it was like Roger Delgado. And later on, of course, Anthony Anley would do it. But Roger Delgado for the original, was my favorite, like, Master. Sorry, I went into Doctor Who territory. But any other Bond questions before I move on from Bond? Because we talked about Bond for like 75 minutes. I rambled on. You guys asked me random questions. My favorite Bond of all time, you asked me that one, and I really didn't answer it. I kind of like went around it. But actor for Bond, I don't know. They're like the all. I can't say they all did it. Well, they all did do a great job. Like George Lazenby is probably the weakest actor that's ever played James Bond. Sean Connery is, you know, funniest Bond film. Funniest Bond film. Moonraker. Honestly, you got it in your name. It's actually one of the more humorous Bond films. I kind of like that. I had a Spanish bus stop poster for Moonraker. It was stunning. Unfortunately, oh man, that sucks. I've had some stuff. I used to have the complete Highlander series from Anchor Bay, and it was like a gem of my collection because I used to like that series. And Anchor Bay used to put out really good box sets of TV shows. I mean, it was like huge. It was like, you should see their Xena stuff and that they did in Hercules. It's incredible. And I was really stoked. I really was proud of those. And I was moving and they got stolen on me. So, yeah. And apparently there could be only one because I haven't been able to find them since. But funniest character, the Sheriff, definitely. I love the Sheriff. He shows up in a couple films, in the early Roger Moore films. I really dig his character. I like what they did with him. And it was, I never really thought about that. But yeah, there was a lot more humor in the Roger Moore ones for sure. I'm a huge Roger Moore fan. Dalton may be he's so spot on as Bond. I think Pierce Brosnan is the actor that has everything to have been the best Bond, except the scripts. Like, they're decent, but they're not perfect. So my answer's gonna be, I would love to say Dalton, but I guess Connery. It's a boring answer. Dalton, like, definitely was Dalton and Brosnan were definitely people that I thought would, I think, with better scripts, could definitely both be definitive Bonds. But like, Connery did do some amazing work. Roger Moore, it's hard. My favorite Bond. Okay, now I gotta think of a definitive answer. There has to be a definitive answer. Let's look at my favorite Bond films. What stands out? Okay. Oh my God, it's like asking who's your favorite child. My favorite Bond is Timothy Dalton, I guess. North Sea Hijack, another fun Moore with Perkins and Manson. Oh, I haven't seen that. I don't think I've seen that one. Oh, good choices. I've seen like a few different like Moore films. Like, there's some really cool ones. But yes, my funniest Bond film. I think Moonraker, a lot of like humor in it, and like intentionally good humor. I uh, I love the sheriff character. Somebody mentioned sheriff character. I do think that To Live and to Die actually had a lot of kind of comedy in it as well. And the thing is, it wasn't like bad comedy; it was good. Like Bond's a jerk. She's got like psychic powers because she's a virginal character, and he literally sets her up to. He does. He takes her powers away from her. Uh, you know, Bond, you're a bit of a dick there. But it is a comical sequence and the Yaphet Kotto blowing up like that scene. Baron Samedi scared me as a kid. That's definitely one of my favorite Bond films. Do you like to give my favorite Bond? Honestly, no. I don't know. I go back and forth. I love Dalton as Bond. He just did such a good job. Roger Moore is probably the most fun Bond. Like to watch his movies to watch, they're really rewatchable. Like I'll sit down and watch like Spy Love Me, Moonraker, Live and Let Die over like maybe Thunderball, which I do like. I keep going back. I keep waffling on my favorite Bond, but no, we'll go Connery. Connery's, he's the man. He's Bond. He's what people think about, and everybody else that plays Bond tries to get like some of the Connery aspects in there. Even Daniel Craig. I was so pissed off when he does that line, and he asks him like, "So, how do you like your martini?" And he's like, do I look like I give a damn? And I'm like, yes, you do give a damn. You do give a damn. It's shaken, not stirred. That's how it is. Say that, bitch. Dance, monkey, dance. But no, he didn't. Eventually, he got to it. Moore plays a cat-loving misogynist naval commander, so there's a loose Bond connection being a naval guy. What was the last Bond film you saw? Legitimately, it was. I watched all these over again, and so it was probably Skyfall. Naval guy, yeah. Oh, he is a naval. Bond is, was in the Navy. Bond's like the Navy SEAL. That becomes. Well, there's the thing. They can use your Navy SEALs as like secret agents, like Navy SEAL movies. They've done a Navy SEAL movie. It was with Charlie Sheen and well, okay, but no, but yeah, Connery, I guess Connery and Moore keeps going back and forth, but it depends on the mood I'm in. I think that one of the hardest to watch Bond films for me is probably Man with the Golden Gun. Of all the original stuff, as much as I rag on Quantum of Solace, it's the worst movie out there. When it comes to Bond, the second least favorite of in the Bond series for me is the Man with the Golden Gun. I love Christopher Lee. I like aspects of the film. I love the fight at the end. I just don't think that it played together really well. And when I watched it this time as well, I'm not gonna lie, it was time for tea a few times watching Man with the Golden Gun. But I've been watching a few at that night, and I don't think I was in the right mindset, frame of mind to watch it. But it just didn't play with me, the way that some of the other ones did. So there you go, guys. We've talked Bond. I promise you, Bond. You got my favorite Bond, Connery, and more. My favorite Bond film, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. My favorite Bond song, To Die Another Day, Die Another Day. And my favorite Bond, well, yeah, pretty much my favorite Bond everything. Is there anything I didn't answer? And everybody gets quiet. There's this awkward silence thing, which I will use to now say, I'll praise the big silver disc. Am I a fan of Austin Powers? I am, actually. I did like the Austin Powers films. I'm Canadian. And they were fun. I like the Austin Powers films. I like the Flint films, the James Coburn, like the Flint films. I enjoy those. I liked a lot of the Bond knockoff stuff. But like Austin Powers is really, does it stand up? I mean, I watched them a while back, and it's been a while since I've seen the Austin Powers films. Do they still stand up? Like there's certain like scenes I remember from the Austin Powers movies that were really, really funny. I liked Rowan Atkinson's movies that he did as well. They, God, what was the character's name again? He played like basically every other agent in the world died. But if I was to pick like a favorite like kind of Bond like series knockoff type of thing, like of modern times, then the Kingsman movies like get it right. Hey Ben's from Reviews, how's it going? I've been talking Bond here for about 85 minutes, and I think I've bored everybody on the Bond aspect of the of this. I pretty much like ran off with like as much Bond as I could. So if you want to list your favorite Bond film and favorite Bond, feel free to do so. Wasn't a new fan of the new Kingsman. I liked it. It wasn't as good as the first one. You know, it's not Johnny English. Thank you. I'd forgotten that. I was killing, like, names was not coming to me. It's really super hot here again tonight. We're having like a heat wave here right now. Well, it's a heat wave for Nova Scotia. And we're actually going to probably go pick up like an air conditioning unit tomorrow. And just as we said we're going to pick one up, it started to rain. And we're like, will the rain break the heat? Or are we going to actually have to go and get an air conditioning unit tomorrow? But we might have to do that. Like early in the morning too, like around like 9:30 or so, we're going to go and like buy an air conditioning unit. Fun stuff, guys. Which we'll probably put up in the bedroom, just because it's, you know, it's not a big unit. It's not going to throw the whole house. It's like kind of like the window ones. But there you go. I don't know what else to say when it comes to Bond. But at this point, before I end my video, if anybody has any questions or anything that they want to ask, any random stuff about anything at all, definitely now's the time to ask it. It can help me in deciding what my next category is going to be, and deciding what we're going to talk about next here in the movie club. So don't be shy, and feel free to talk in the room. Naked Gun, did I love Naked Gun films? Yes, I did. I love the TV series too. I love the fact that he had a guest star that cut off at the beginning of the series in every episode. Tonight's guest star. Oh, the Russ Meyer box up behind. Yeah, I did tell you I was going to show you that. Oh, wait. Okay, so here we go. Friday the 13th next. That's the thought, actually. I'm a big Friday the 13th fan. You prepare for like a random Victor Miller. So this is a Russ Meyer box set for anybody that has not seen this. Arrow Video, I guess are more famous now, especially where they've done like a lot of stuff in North America as well. They've like branched out over here. They've become like pretty much the criterion of genre films for the type that they do. So early on, they got the rights to do a Russ Meyer box set. There was actually 2 of these done. There was one where there's actually like just regular DVD discs, like right along. It's a really thick one. Yeah, Savannah, actually, Russ Meyer is famous for that. Russ Meyer was a, yeah, that's way out of print, Dylan. But if you can find it on eBay for a good price, snatch it. Yeah, Savannah, so Russ Meyer was known. And the question, do you watch giallos with Italian audio or English dub, if it's an option? Italian. Even though some of them are done, like, you know, the actor's done English. You had to leave for 40 minutes. Did you take the new job, by the way? Because you had a new job offer, right? But yeah, no, so Savannah, Russ Meyer was literally known for casting like big-breasted girls in his films. That was kind of his thing. But he was a really cool filmmaker. How cool was he? Roger Ebert worked with Russ Meyer. And Roger Ebert was like this, if you don't know, you're younger, was a really big like film critic, the biggest film critic of all. Top 10 film noir actors, male leads, female leads. We'll tell you what, we'll do a film noir episode. And we'll talk about, we'll go really into film noir stuff, because I'm a really big fan of film noir. So give me some time to actually formulate that, watch some film noir movies over the week, give me an excuse to go back and watch some of my favorites, rewatch like Narrow Margin or The Past again. Those would definitely be on the list of favorite film noirs, favorite film noir actors. You know, Robert Mitchum's going to be on the list, so is Barbara Stanwyck. There's a lot of great like film noir people that I can talk about, so that's going to be a category all of its own. It's going to be its own episode, definitely. And I'll actually show you my film noir collection, and there's a few of them. But I promised Dylan that I'd show him the. So this has pretty much everyone. Thoughts on erotic directors like Tinto Brass and Ken Russell. I don't think I will, because You do major training for lifeguard. Well, you can eventually do it. You can like slowly do it if you want to. But if you like teaching the kids like swimming, you know, you're a strong swimmer. Definitely stick with what you like. Didn't Roger Ebert write Beyond the Valley? He did write Beyond the Valley of Dolls. Roger Ebert was a friend of Russ Myers. He was a fan of Russ Myers, and he was a long time like proponent of that. Russ Meyer was a much better director than a lot of people were giving him credit for. Russ Meyer had a style of his own, something that really really worked, and he wasn't wrong. Russ Meyer stuff, if you actually watch it, like legitimately watch his films, it does some incredible stuff. We got like the yeah, early stuff, and he did what you call like started it with like doing kind of the nudie cuties type of thing. Basically, you couldn't have nudity like really in films because you know there's the whole the moral clause. So they get around that by having like these movies that would be kind of humorous, and they would put nudity in it without sex. Sex and nudity could not be together. That was a big thing back in the day. You could have like they would get away like doing like nudist camps, and a guy would like hit his head or be like hit his head and suddenly be seeing people like naked all over the place. Ken Russell was a lot more than an erotic director. He was. Now Ken Russell did, however, you have to admit that he did put a lot of eroticism and sexuality within his films. He wasn't like, I don't think it's bad to say that Ken Russell's like worked with erotic films. Russ Myers worked with erotic films. Radley Metzger worked in the genre of erotic films, and so did Tinto Brass. But the thing is that some of their work goes beyond that. And Ken Russell is definitely, you've seen more of like a director, that, you know, a beloved director. He does a lot of really strange stuff, but he did do a lot of stuff that had a lot of erotic content within it, like Crimes of Passion, The Devils. But a lot of these guys get pegged for doing like one thing. Tinto Brass gets pegged for one thing. If anybody's ever seen one Tinto Brass movie, you know what that is. It's literally in his name what Tinto Brass is obsessed with. It's in his name, guys. Look at the poster of any Tinto Brass film. Go to Arrow's website and go pick out a Tinto Brass film. Bam. What do you see? What do you see on the cover of Tinto Brass, of every Tinto Brass film? I remember seeing some of the filming of Tommy. Oh my God! Do you know? Do you know what? I completely forgot that Ken Russell did Tommy. No word of a lie. It makes perfect sense that Ken Russell is the director of Tommy, but I did not attach him to it. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, I did not attach Ken Russell to Tommy. When I think of Ken Russell, I think yeah, I think of The Devils. Like that's one of the strongest one that comes to mind. Gothic is a good one. He's the one Ken Russell film you're not a fan of. Honestly, me, take it or leave it. It's definitely my least of Russell's work that I can think about right now. I love Gothic, and that was a really good film. I thought that's underrated. Lair of the White Worm I really liked. There was God, there's so many of them. Metzger's another director that I really enjoy, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the director's name, but the guy that did Immortal Tales and The Beast, and Dr. Jekyll and God, I can't remember her name right now. Jace, hey, welcome, dude. I was looking forward to hearing about Bond. So, yeah, well, I did. I talked about Bond a lot. I hemmed and hawed on a lot of stuff, so I apologize, Jace. Me and Jace once did a Bond video. We had problems with like with getting it done, as you remember. Quadrophenia is a better Who album than a film adaptation. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I'm a bigger fan of Quadrophenia than I am of Tommy. That's we have the same thoughts there. I didn't rank them, Jace. I thought about ranking them like I did when we did it. I said the boyfriend, the homage to 1930s musicals. Major training. Oh no. Dude, lifeguard training is definitely not easy. You got a question? Ask away. Waiting for the question. But yeah, I never did lifeguard training. In complete and all honesty, I got a high respect for for people that do that. As for airline pilots, I've seen good airline pilot training and bad airline pilot training. My better half's a joint official ranking. That'll be good. I actually like that. Won't be that's when the next Bond comes out and it's not in the box set. Well, to be fair, they left a opening for Skyfall in here, and no, I just put it in with the other stuff. I got like a couple different ones. Like I got like a steel book that I actually won. Jace, I love to do like a collaboration video sometime. We actually would rank the Bond films. Wasn't me and you and was it Dean DVD back in the day that tried to do that a video, and crappy internet or something like that didn't work out. Taking us back a bit, but I used to do some live streams with a few different people, and Jace and me, and I think it was Dean. Were if you guys haven't seen Dean DVD, he used to do some amazing stuff. But yeah, I would definitely do a cool collab video again. It's been a while. I've actually haven't done. Oh, I keep going to it. Anyway, leave for now. I'm planning on catching a plane early. I've been in Hawaii for the past week. Oh, dude, you're so lucky. I knew it was Dean. Have a great evening, Ben, and hope you've enjoyed your trip. Has Hawaii been like safe now? It's safe now, right? I would love to visit Hawaii. But yeah, another idea: movies that need a Blu-ray release or a decent DVD release. I keep getting asked to do that one, and I'll be honest, I've been lazy about it because I really got to look into it. And every time that I do up a list, something gets announced, and then there's 3 or 4 movies that go off my list. They're like, okay, I'm going to do this list, and I had a list up a while back actually, but it must have been 2 years ago now. What's the one Bond film you watched the most? No, I did not mention that already, so that's a good question. The one Bond film that I watched the most, more than anyone else. Which one of these? I watch. I did watch For Much with Love a lot when I was. When I did this, I like watched every one of the films. I watched Under Majesty's Secret Service twice. And at the time, I'm a big fan of Under Majesty's Secret Service. I watched that one a lot. Definitely, that's one of the ones I watch most. And I do like some of the cheesier stuff. So I will watch like Die Another Day, and I'll watch about the opening Casino Royale. I watch like certain sequences of certain Bond films over and over again. But I think Under Majesty's Secret Service is one I watch a lot. $1,100 for this. It's a good box set, but it's not $1,100. Yeah, it's the thing. Under Majesty's Secret Service is one of the best Bond stories, and I always go love it. So we'll go through the Roger Moore films. Yeah, Roger Moore definitely. The least watchable one probably for me is Man with Golden Gun out of the Roger Moore films. Rewatchability factor, Quantum of Solace has 0 rewatchability factor. So the Russ Meyer came with this. Can I show you the inside? I can't not show the inside of the book, sorry. Oh, go ahead. Ask, Savannah. Ask away. I got to look at this before I can actually show you guys this stuff. Okay, so I can't show the inside of this. There's nudity. Like, it is a shame because I am among the proponents that why is it that we can show you ultraviolet stuff on 21? Yes, Quantum of Solace has got to be. Why is it that we can show like ultraviolet stuff and like dead bodies and stuff on and videos on YouTube and stuff like that, but nudity is like a super no-no? Oh my God. When you buy box sets, are you fuzzy to what they are? Because I hate box sets that open up in flaps. So, oh no, usually when I buy something, this is come up to the man. When I buy, I know exactly what I'm getting. Sometimes I'll buy I'll kind of blind buy, but I've never been like disappointed really in any box sets I can think of that I've had. Indicator in recent years, in the recent like last year or so, I've been putting out the best sets for the like for me. Like of course Arrow's putting out some great stuff. Screen Factory's done some great stuff, but I just really like the style that Indicator's been doing for their sets so far. And I do want the Samuel Fuller set. That's like the next like big set that I want, and of course the Bud Budisher set as well. The recent Becoming Bond documentary is worth. I haven't seen that yet. I didn't even know that was a thing. Sir with George Lazenby. No, actually, I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that was a thing. But because Lazenby, like, there's like he talks about it a lot, and he's definitely one cool thing with Lazenby is he fesses up to the mistakes he made. I just like the thick plastic box where all the discs are in one. Are those shelves custom? I like to say no. These shelves here, they're turned around. Really, is what they are, because these belong downstairs in my movie library. I'm not sure if you're newer here or not, but I've got a movie library, but all the floors got like ripped up, and everything had to be brought upstairs. So no, I've made all my shelves myself. Usually, we got them from Walmart, got them from Canadian Tire, places like that. My newer stuff, like my shelves like these, like this here, these glass ones. I became Bond. Let's say so he had regrets. Oh yeah, he definitely did. And there's people like, if I remember correctly, when he's talking about it, there's people that were kind of like telling him, you know, you don't want to do this, and they're going to screw you over and all this stuff. You're going to get typecast. But yeah, that's one of my things. Tell you what, let me show you something over here. You ready? So this here come over to see my entire collection. You're welcome to come over to see my collection. Anybody's welcome to come over. Behind the scenes. Yeah, I have like I'll do like a video showing you the guys that stuff sometimes. I got some really big, massive box sets there. Like I'm a big fan of like. I'm slowly getting it done. Jason, I was actually going to pick up another one of those like display units. I got that one at IKEA. Put together myself with the help of my better half because it's a two-person thing. That one I bought, and the big one there I bought at a. There was a shop that was closing out. It was like a tanning shop and a video store. Legit, there was a tanning shop and video store. So they had this glass cabinet. They gave me a really great price on it. I just had to take it out. But and it's really, really heavy. So moving it out was like super, super hard to do. Oh, Never Say Never Again. Yeah, it was mentioned. I don't mind re-mentioning it. I like Never Say Never Again. I actually mentioned the rights issues with and the battle between Fleming and the guy I can't remember whose name you will remember, Jace, over the Bond film book, Thunderball, with the Bond movie Thunderball, and the fact that he won the rights to do it. I actually like it. I understand. Packing, unpacking, classifying the thing. Yeah, that's a pain. But I did like Never Say Never Again. That was a fun movie. It was a fun little movie. I knew that that there was things that you couldn't do. I think a lot of people go into Never Say Never Again expecting the original Bond tropes. So it was finished. Email me because with your correct address because I have 2 movies to send you. I will. I'll email you as soon as this one gets over. I promise this time. I think the last time I gave you my address, I put it with. It was early, when I started early. When I just got here. The rights relating to the name Spectre. Yeah. So that's why we didn't get like Blofeld in the later films. And Yeah, but the thing is, Thunderball's not one of my favorite movies. I do like some of the underwater sequences, like for the film, and I do like Never Say Never Again as an older Bond film. I think it works better as an older Bond film, like as Bond's kind of getting long in the tooth, and it made a lot of sense. I don't know if part of the jokes with that were a dig on Roger Moore or not, because Roger Moore was getting up there. Do I listen to the Criterion Now podcast or any other film discussion podcast? I do listen to film discussion podcasts. I think I've heard of the Criterion Now one at least once or twice. I listen to Shockwaves. I used to listen to Killer POV. Uh, I I listen to Screamcast. Actually, one of the podcasters on Screamcast, a girl named Stephanie. Actually, she actually watched some of my videos. I was really actually bowled over by that. I listen to Pure Cinema. I think that's a great podcast as well. There's a few different ones that I listen to. I used to listen to the Nash Cast a bit and like some stuff like that because I people that I'm really into. And of course, your favorite, I'm sure that was mentioned. Sean Connery is like I went back and forth between Sean Connery and Roger Moore, and I just kept going back and forth till the point where it was like I was ping ponging so much that I had to stop like and just say, okay, I can't choose. They're just too good. I bid on eBay on my first Criterion movie the other day, and I lost the bid. So I still have zero Criterion movies. I just like me. I still there was like the Criterion sale like recently, and as you guys know, because I can't understand why sometimes I brought my kids out to university recently, so they're out in Halifax. Connery, Moore, Craig, Dalton, Brosnan, and Lazenby. Moore, Craig. Craig over Dalton? I really like Dalton though. Do you find anything on moving you've forgotten about? Yeah, there was like a few movies. Actually, every time I move, there'll always be certain movies that I'll buy. I'll buy at a flea market. I'll buy like a bunch, some at a time, and I'll forget that I got them. And it was just like a normal movie, like a regular movie. So the first Power came out like on a kind of I think it was like 88 films, but like a slasher classics collection of First Power, and I hadn't seen the first Power since I'd been in theater. Let's say Lou Diamond Phillips film. It's okay. I said, I'd really like to see that movie again. I'm definitely going to buy the 80 slasher classics one down the road. I was just put on my list of things to buy. So I'm like moving my stuff and I'm bringing stuff over. I got my MGMs. So I'm like putting them in, putting them in, and putting them in. And it's just any box protectors. Do you for your movies? And actually, no, I haven't had any box protectors. I like from my VHS. You used to have those like little like plastic things. But yeah, so I found the first Power. I had it actually, had the MGM edition of the first Power. I didn't even know I had it. So I'll still buy the 80s slasher classics collection, but I'll probably put it down lower on the list over like getting ones that I really need, like Sweet 16. I really need Sweet 16. It's been ages since I've seen that movie, and let's just say me and Code Reds don't mix sometimes because evil Canadian. You're aware of Daisuke on YouTube. He has a very impressive physical media collection, has complete with everything. Actually, I'm not. I'll probably check that out after. I usually write down stuff. So my collection is bigger than this here, just so you know. My favorite thing in my collection, right? Like I don't know if you saw my indicator ones. I love the way their box sets are going. Dalton, you said because Dalton only did two, but he did two good ones. And Dalton was actually was asked to play Bond back after Roger Moore, and after Sean Connery, and he was sitting on, no, I'm too young. Dalton always could do Bond. It's just he aged into the part, and some people think his films are slightly weaker, or they think that he doesn't have enough bite, which is really insane. But I really, really like Dalton. I really liked the stuff that he did. I saw both of his movies in the theater as well, and one of them when I was in college, which was perfect. It's insane. That's the thing, like when it comes to that, Dalton is, And Dalton, I think Dalton liked it. Loved Living Daylights for sure. Your collection is also very impressive, and I admire your time and dedication. Thanks a lot. I'm actually do try. I haven't bought as much recently in the last year as I normally do, and that basically has just been to that I've gone back to work here, and and I've been my kids went to university. Uh, there were issues like we moved into a new house, a more expensive house, so all that stuff came about, and eventually I'm going to go back to like getting collecting a bit more, and I find that a lot of things, I got to get really passionate about something that's coming out. When I when Vinegar Syndrome put out their stuff, like a lot of their stuff last year, it really grabbed my interest. As you guys know, if you've seen like a lot of my videos last year and earlier in the year, I bought a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff. I'm a huge Vinegar Syndrome fan. Uh, James Hayes sent me some MVD Rewind and some other stuff that's like really get me into like some other different companies that I find really interesting. I've always loved Arrow, and as you can tell, like things like the Feast set, it's just incredible they did stuff like that. But I wish I had more indicator stuff. What's one thing you want to see in Bond 25? In the new one? I want to, I want it to be fun. I don't want them to go completely dark with it. I want them to. They started with Spectre. They went dark and then darker, and they went Connery-ish, whatever-ish, Connery-ish, more. Uh, when you watch Spectre, Spectre has a lot of the more Roger Moore aspects to it. With the the over the top villain kind of villainous character, with the way Blofield's done, the Dave Bautista character. But so I like the more of along the lines of like of that. I want to see. Want him to be able to have a sense of humor. I don't want him to be going back to be completely dark. You don't think Dalton had any ambition to be a movie star? Hence, two Bonds was enough. Probably like Dalton was not, and I think he felt a bit burnt. He wanted to do Bond in a certain way, and I think he was his hands got tied a bit with what he could do with the Bond character. There was a time when different things happened for James Bond, and Dalton. Yeah, Dalton's always been like Dalton's a craftsman. He's an actor. He's an actor's actor, and you ever done like any acting, or if you're in acting at all, then you like you appreciate the work that Dalton does and the things that he puts into his roles. I really appreciate what he did with the character Bond. I just wish I could see more of it. But I understand, and I knew that Pierce Brosnan, it was Brosnan's time. I don't think Brosnan would have done well with the Living Daylight script. It would have. It just maybe had to rewrite it a bit more for Dalton. But I don't. I know it was written for Brosnan, but I don't think it was a perfect script for Brosnan. I think Brosnan came in with Goldeneye. It was perfect. Most underrated villain. Best villain is I don't know, I love Goldfinger. Most underrated villain is Baron Samedi. Actually, the villains from To Live and Let of Live and Let Die, but specifically Baron Samedi. Here's a guy that honestly became mostly famous. If you remember back, not as old, most people here are probably not as old as me. From drinks from the 7-Up commercials he did. He did these, haha, drink 7-Up, and you damn well wanted to drink some 7-Up because you didn't want this guy like coming into your room at night. But yeah, Baron Samedi. I really think Baron Samedi was an underrated character. I think that Grace Jones in a film that a lot of people don't like, A View to a Kill, is actually is kind of underrated as a character. These smaller characters actually do like put a lot into the films, and people kind of pass them by. And of course, the most underrated character in any James Bond film, Dolph Lundgren, not being seen as hench guy off the screen if you had like a full screen edition of James Bond's film back in the day, because Dolph Lundgren is in one of the films, but if you had the full screen edition, he's completely cut out. Yeah. So there we go. That's my, I think you have favorite villains. But my favorite villain of all is Blofeld. And people ask me which Blofeld. I love the Donald Pleasance look of Blofeld. I love Charles' voice, the way Charles Gray's, like the way he did Blofeld. Uh, but as I mentioned here earlier, the when I think of Blofeld, when I actually really think of the character, I'm probably for a lot of time I'm thinking of Anthony Dawson. Same, I did Bond and Chitty Bang Bang. Actually, in the Bond Museum in London, they actually show a Chitty Bang Bang thing. It's kind of cool. It's that it's versatile. But yeah, so yeah, Anthony Dawson is actually probably one of my favorite Blofelds because we never really see him as Blofeld, and the dude's he gets killed in Doctor No, but it's his hand. It's doing the whole thing. Dawson had the great voice, and a lot of people don't give him credit. They know Pleasance, they know Telly Savalas, they know Charles Gray, but Dawson was the guy that started it, that made you want to know what Blofeld looked like, that kind of brought the menace to it. And I think they all did a great job, like all the actors that played Blofeld. I mean, except for the guy from For Your Eyes Only, but Anthony Dawson was kind of my Blofeld. The behind the scenes before you see him type of thing. But for looks wise, Donald Pleasance had that in pat. Hopefully that answered your question. Great physical presence. It was, I think, it works for the storyline, but Telly Savalas is just so Telly Savalas. You know what I mean? It's just such a character. He's a great actor, no doubt. But he is so Telly Savalas that sometimes when he goes into a role, a different one, especially a role like Blofeld, it doesn't out. You see Telly Savalas more than you see Blofeld, and I think he was very menacing, and he does a great job. He's a great menacer. Telly Savalas doesn't get not enough credit for his menacing type roles. Do you think they could have had like a Yul Brynner Blofeld or something like that, or is he too fit for the character Blofeld? But and do you think Christoph Waltz was a good Blofeld? There, see, there's a. And who, if not, who could play Blofeld? I mean, the same characteristics in a lot of films, especially if you watch his westerns. Oh my God, yeah. And even his stuff they did with Bava, like when we were looking at the what's it called, Leeson Devil, and that type of stuff. But fun fact about Telly Savalas is that my better half from Morocco, Telly Savalas was so known for the series Kojak. Kojak is more crazy, not a bad idea actually. But I think Blofeld needs to be very, very methodical. But his plans need to definitely go up a notch. But Telly Savalas was so unknown over in the area where my better half grew up, as the character of Kojak, that they used to call lollipops Kojaks, which I think is actually really cool. So over in another country, over in another continent, a character can make that much of an impression on the national zeitgeist that they actually name an article that's familiar with him, and that's pretty much their slang term for it is Kojaks, lollipops, suckers, some people call them. Neat little fact. And if you've never been over to that area, like Morocco, Casablanca, Marrakesh area, I recommend it. That wasn't that bad. I'm disappointed from what I'm hearing. He's not coming back? I thought he was going to come back because Daniel Craig came back. That makes me think that they're going to that this Daniel Craig movie is going to be kind of an end to his character type of thing, and a whole reboot is going to happen. Hope they don't go too young with the role. And who could reboot Bond at this point? A lot of people were really, really happy with what they did with Daniel Craig. Some people weren't. Would you reboot Bond again? or would you just cast a new actor and do another film much in the way that the original Bond series did? It's Craig's last. It's definitely going to be Craig's last. Craig keeps saying like, you know, oh, I'm not going to do the next one. Then he does it type of thing. But Daniel Craig is a fantastic actor, and we've seen over the years like different characters that he's done. Ted did a series of promotional films for English towns in the 70s. They haven't aged well. I like to see those actually. I got to check those out. I got to YouTube that. I'm a huge Telly's fan. I love Kojak. Who loves you, babe? But with that, guys, if you guys can't hear it, my voice is going. So this has been a blast. Jace, we'll get together in a collab video in the near future and do like a whole 25, the 24 Bonds, because I really got to write them down. I watched all the Bond films this week. And now I'm feeling that maybe, just maybe, I might watch all the Russ Meyer films. So maybe we'll do we gotta do Friday 3. We gotta do a film noir one. And would anybody be interested in talking about like the directors, I guess that are basically known? That's going to be a great Blofeld. Interesting choice there. Let me know some details on IG, Instagram or something. Yeah, exactly. The girl with the big boobies. Actually, I can't remember her name. That's not Erica Gavin. Gavin's my favorite, actually. But yeah, if anybody be interested in like kind of a Russ Meyers, Tinto Brass, Metzger type video, those are really good movies. Those are good. I will actually recommend movies from this that you would actually, I think you'd kind of like. They're kind of twisted. And I don't mean just like nudity and stuff like that. And one of the movies, like Hitler's in it. It's Hitler character. It's 4:30. Well, sorry to keep you up so late, and it's over here right now. It's like it's 12:30, and I'm about to go and have some tea and watch a movie. So thank you so much, guys, and let me know. I guess in the comment section down below or whatever, if you're interested in the film noir video, if you're interested in like the cheerio, in the Metzger Myers brass video, and I'll talk to Jace soon about that, and I will email you, Savannah, with my correct address. Everybody have a fantastic night. I hope you had a great time here, yeah, let me know what you think of the video, and I will talk to you all soon. And Drax, Savannah, everybody there. Oh my God, so many of you guys, and you guys are all fantastic. I will see you guys later because I'm sweating bullets, but I still need my tea here, and I'll see you next time, guys. Tummy Films, Mac, everybody there, have a fantastic night, and Dylan, check him out. I will check him out, I promise. There's a guy there that does like really great Criterion videos. We'll get on that another time. But right now, I gotta get some tea, and I'm gonna watch one of my Hammer films on my indicator set. So, night all. It is time for tea.